Commitment to meaningful reconciliation and respectful partnership with Indigenous peoples. Putin's ongoing, illegal, and unjustified full-scale invasion of Ukraine is coming at a massive cost to ordinary people, to Ukraine's economy, and to global stability. And it is a direct attack on the rules-based international order that has enabled peace, stability, and prosperity in Europe for decades. Nobody understands the immense cost of this war better than our Ukrainian friends. Et pourtant, malgré ce coup, ils persévèrent.
This cost, they persevere and continue to fight for their country, their freedom, and the democracy of the entire world. We've been witness to this determination at each day since the large-scale invasion started by Putin on February 24th of this year. Canada firmly maintains its support towards Ukraine, and we continue to supply to the country a strong aid on a humanitarian basis, economic basis, and military basis.
When we paused our military training and capacity building operations in Ukraine under Operation Unifier in early February, I made a commitment to resume these operations whenever and wherever possible. Since then, we have been supplying lethal and non-lethal military equipment to the armed forces of Ukraine. And our Canadian Armed Forces have provided training on the use of the artillery and munitions, such as the M777s, in third country locations. Today, I will discuss three important developments: training, update on military aid, and cooperation with allies. First, training. We have now entered a new and very dangerous phase of this conflict, with Putin engaging in protracted attempts to inflict long-term damage on Ukraine and its people. Canada is committed to supporting Ukraine's short, medium, and long-term defense needs. I am therefore announcing today that we are fulfilling our promise to resume large-scale training under Operation Unifier. I have authorized the deployment of up to 225 Canadian Armed Forces personnel to the United Kingdom, where they will train new Ukrainian military recruits.
Today, I'm announcing that we are keeping our promise to start Operation Unifier again, and that I've authorized the deployment of the maximum of 225 members of the Canadian Armed Forces to the United Kingdom, where they will train new recruits, Ukrainian military recruits.
The majority of our deployed Canadian Armed Forces will work as trainers, supported by a command and control element at a military base in southeast England. The first cohort of CAF personnel will depart from Edmonton, Alberta, starting next week. These
courses, led by Canadians, offer a flexible program based on the individual competencies required for combat, first-line combat, including manipulation of weapons, first aid on the battlefield, techniques, campaigning techniques, and armed conflict. Since 2015, within Operation Unifier, we've had the privilege of training more than 33,000 military personnel and security personnel in Ukraine. When I was in Ukraine earlier this year, I saw at which point our members of Canadian Armed Forces have worked hard to deliver that education that the Ukrainian military forces needed to prepare for this battle. And I directly heard members of the Canadian Armed Forces that they've also learned a lot from their Ukrainian colleagues. We know that this exchange of knowledge between our military forces greatly improved things on the field, particularly in the defense of Kyiv during the first weeks following the invasion. Also, we are happy to maintain our support towards Ukraine for this because with today's announcement.
General Eyre shared that when he met last week with the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, General Zaluzhny, reiterated how much Ukrainians valued Canada's powerful training mission. I have also been in touch with Defense Minister Resnikov, including today, who thanked me for Canada's continued support for Ukraine's security, sovereignty, and stability. On behalf of Canada, I want to thank the United Kingdom and my counterpart, Secretary Wallace, for leading this initiative and for providing the facilities needed to resume training. I also salute the remarkable courage and bravery of the armed forces of Ukraine in these most difficult circumstances. Moving now to update on military aid to Ukraine. Our commitment to Ukraine and to Canadians watching this at home is that we will continue to provide Ukraine not only with the skills to defend their country, but also with the equipment necessary to do so. Through our own stocks and inventory, we have provided anti-tank weapon systems and ammunition, hand grenades, M777s, artillery guns, and small arms to Ukraine over the last number of months. To bolster Ukraine's defense, we have also been procuring military aid through Canadian industry, including 56 drone cameras, 8 Rochelle armored vehicles, demining equipment, and satellite imagery. In addition, at the NATO's Leaders Summit, the Prime Minister and I announced that Canada was working to finalize an agreement with GDLS to supply 39 armored combat support vehicles. And today, I am pleased to confirm that an agreement has been achieved with the company and that these vehicles will be delivered straight off the assembly line to address some of Ukraine's most pressing battlefield needs. The company has informed us that the deliveries to Europe of the first vehicles will begin in the coming weeks. Working in close partnership with the Ukrainian Armed Forces and with Defense Minister Resnikov, we are also equipping these vehicles with additional modern, state-of-the-art armor and machine guns, as well as ammunition for these machine guns. Moving now to cooperation with our allies, our Canadian Armed Forces have also helped our NATO allies deliver over 3 million pounds of military aid and military equipment from our allies since February in support of Ukraine. And we continue to work with domestic partners to identify specific defense industry niches where Canada has a competitive advantage that could continue supporting Ukraine in the long term. Canada
is consolidating its commitment, emphasizing the collective defense of Europe, for example, through the intermediary of the operational force in Romania. The Canadian Armed Forces will monitor the airspace and will train with their counterparts in NATO and will intercept, identify, or escort the planes who go into the identified Romanian airspace. Today, the Romanian Air Force has done this, and supported by NATO with the Romanian Air Force and other allies. In the context of international security, which has been evolving considerably, we are reinforcing our support, and we have temporarily deployed two CF-18s, two additional CF-18s, on top of the rotation of 6 planes that we are continuing to supply for simultaneous activities for NATO training.
In short, Canada is taking an all-hands-on-deck approach in our support for Ukraine and in defense of the rules-based international order. Our support will not waver. In conclusion, our adversaries are watching us closely, eager to see cracks in our solidarity, hoping for signs of disunity. And they may think that the NATO alliance can be divided, but we are more united than ever in our support of Ukraine. The resumption of Operation Unifier is just one more example of this support. Thank you. Merci. I'm happy to take your questions.
Thank you, Minister. Merci, Madame la Ministre. On va commencer maintenant avec la période
We're
des
going to
questions.
start
We'll
now
have
with
one
the question
and
period.
one follow-up from journalists calling in. On peut commencer maintenant avec la première
We can
question.
start now with the first question.
Thank you, merci. Please press star 1 at this time if you have a question. S'il vous plaît, appuyez sur étoile 1
Please
maintenant pour
press
poser
star
une
1
question.
to ask your
Et
question.
la première question,
The
the
first
first
question
is from Libertium, the Canadian Press. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Minister. I wanted to ask about I lost my train of thought there. Just about the deployment, and obviously the Canadian Forces is very stretched now. We have a number of commitments all over the place. We've also seen what's happening in China, and I'm just wondering about the state of the forces in terms of its ability to provide such a large commitment, and also kind of on the flip side, why it's only for 4 months.
Thank you for the question, Lee. Training missions like this, assisting our allies and our partners when they are under attack, is what we do. It is one of the main purposes of the Canadian Armed Forces. It supports our collective security, our multilateral alliances, and in fact, the rules-based international order. It is fundamentally important to the Canadian Armed Forces and to our collective security. And it is a priority for us as a country to stand shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine and with our allies.
As a follow-up, you mentioned the agreement with GDLS and the provision of armored vehicles. We've sent a lot of equipment over there. Can you speak to how Canada is tracking this equipment and making sure it doesn't end up either on the black market or being used for purposes other than it's intended?
So, you're right that we have sent multiple shipments of military aid to Ukraine. That has included Carl Gustaf anti-tank weapon systems, hand grenades, artillery, ammunition, sniper rifles, and then we moved to working with industry, so cameras for drones, the 8 Rochelle vehicles, and now moving forward the 39 vehicles from GDLS. So you're right to point to a substantial amount of military aid, which represents our continued commitment to Ukraine in its fight for solidarity, for stability and sovereignty. In terms of weapons tracking, that is something that we take seriously, of course, and what we will continue to do is work with the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine and the Armed Forces of Ukraine to ensure that this aid is provided exclusively to them. And we are following the requirements of the United Nations Arms Trade Treaty, to which Canada is a party. I discussed this very issue with Minister Resnikoff when I met with him at the end of January in Kyiv, recognizing that it is an important issue for Canada and for Canadians. Canada is not taking specific part in the discussions regarding the development of a tracking system at the current time, but we are monitoring the developments, and we will leave no stone unturned in our work to ensure the safe delivery and the use of military aid.
Next question. Prochaine question.
Thank you. La question suivante. The next question is from Kevin Gallagher, CTV National News. Please go ahead.
Morning, Minister. Thanks for taking our questions. Ukraine's ambassador to Canada is expected to again express disappointment from Ukraine about Canada's decision to waive the sanctions on the turbines. So I guess my question to you is, although Ukraine has been asking for Canada to train its troops, it's also disappointed about Canada indirectly helping Russia fund this war. So what do you say to your Ukrainian allies today, about this kind of disconnect and I guess solidarity?
Well, I'd like to start off by saying, Kevin, that I have been in touch with Minister Resnikoff this morning, and we continue to stand in solidarity with Ukraine and with our counterparts in the Ukrainian government. And they recognize that we stand with Ukraine shoulder to shoulder, full stop. We will continue to impose severe costs on the Russian regime in response to Putin's illegal and unprovoked war against Ukraine. At the same time, it is important for us to support our European friends and allies as they work to end their dependency on Russian gas imports as quickly as possible. Canada is going to continue to work to stabilize energy markets and to develop long-term and sustainable solutions on energy supplies.
Follow-up question?
Back to the training mission in UK. How long is it going to last, and how many Ukrainian soldiers will this train? I guess maybe to specify, no foreign nationals will be trained. Is it only Ukrainian nationals who are being trained at this camp by UK and Canadian servicemen and women?
This training mission is for Ukrainian military new recruits, and Canada's contribution is going to be extensive, up to 225 Canadian Armed Forces personnel to engage in training as well as to assist with logistics. The activities of our Canadian Armed Forces are going to be relating to frontline combat, weapons handling, first aid, fieldcraft, patrol tactics, and include the law of armed conflict, which is a mandatory course in the training session. So this is a very important mission for us. In fact, I spoke with Secretary Ben Wallace, at the NATO meeting of the defense ministers in June about it. I spoke about it again with him in Madrid and expressed our willingness to continue to work with our allies in support of Ukraine and the training mission that the UK is setting up. And I'll just say that, as I'm sure you know, Canada has trained since 2015 over 33,000 members of the Ukrainian armed forces. So our resumption of large-scale training under Operation Unifier is an extension of a long-term commitment that we've already made to training of the Ukrainian armed forces. And it is certainly a sign of our enduring commitment to our allies as well as to the longevity of Ukraine itself.